The Billy Joel song about Allentown is about steel mills that were never in Allentown. They were in Bethlehem, 20 minutes east. He nearly named the song Bethlehem, and the finished lyric says the word out loud. Allentown made iron, cement, and Mack trucks, and 20 things here are worth your time. 11 of them are free. But the trap in this city is not distance. Almost nothing here is more than 40 minutes away. The trap is opening hours. 4 of the best places keep 4 different schedules, and Friday is the one day they overlap. Number 1, and it's the reason I'd get in a car before doing anything else. Trexler Nature Preserve is 1,100 acres of Lehigh County farmland 20 minutes north, and there are bison on it, plains bison and elk in a range of their own. You drive in, follow the road, and there they are out on the hillside. The county wants you in your car for it, which is sensible advice around an animal that size. A man named Harry Trexler bought 36 farms up here, starting in 1906, for the express purpose of keeping a bison herd alive, and he left the whole lot to the county when he died. There's no gate and no fee, and 18 miles of trails if you want to walk instead of drive. Of everything on this list, this is the one I'd have bet against. Number 2 is the opposite kind of day out, and it has the longest steel roller coaster on the East Coast sitting in the middle of it. Dorney Park in Wildwater Kingdom sits west of the city between Allentown and Trexlertown. 200 acres, more than 60 rides, and the water park comes on the same ticket. Steel Force is what people drive for. 200 feet tall, 75 miles an hour, and it has held that East Coast record for close to 30 years. Buy online before you go, because the gate price is the expensive way in, and put parking in the budget separately, because it's charged on top and it isn't small. People from around here hunt for coupons, and they've got the right idea. Set your expectations too. Dorney is very good for what it is, which is a regional park. Fly in for it and you'll feel the gap. Number 3 has the strangest fact in this whole video attached to it. September 1777. The Continental Army had just lost at Brandywine and Philadelphia was wide open. The British were going to melt the city's bells down for cannon. So a group of Philadelphians loaded the bells onto wagons and got them out of town. The State House Bell, the one we now call the Liberty Bell, went north in a farm wagon belonging to a man named Frederick Leeser. It ended up in Allentown, under the floorboards of Zion Reformed Church on Hamilton Street, and it stayed under there until the following June. 9 months. Do not go to Hamilton Street looking for the little museum that used to tell that story, because it closed in 2023 when the church was sold. The whole collection went to the Lehigh Valley Heritage Museum on West Walnut Street, and it's now inside a full American Revolution exhibition put together for the country's 250th birthday. 6 galleries, tens of thousands of objects, and nearly all of it came out of this one county. Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4, shut Sunday and Monday. A few blocks from there is a museum that will never charge you anything, and it has a Frank Lloyd Wright room in it. Number 4. The Allentown Art Museum stopped charging admission in 2022, and it was a permanent decision rather than a promotion. A legacy gift from the Century Fund and money from Lehigh Valley Health Network put it on a permanent footing, so it's free and it stays free. The room is the reason to go. Frank Lloyd Wright designed a library for the Francis Little House in Minnesota, and when that house was demolished, the library came here and the museum rebuilt it indoors. You walk in and stand inside it. It's the only complete Frank Lloyd Wright interior on public display in Pennsylvania. There's Keith Haring in the permanent collection as well, which follows once you know he grew up in Kutztown, half an hour west. The hours run Thursday to Sunday, 11 to 4, which means Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday you're out of luck. Parking at 5th and Linden is free too. One road south of the city holds the best dollar I spent here. Number 5. Lehigh Parkway follows the Little Lehigh Creek out of town. Start at Bogart's Covered Bridge, put up in 1841, 145 feet of wooden truss across the water and the oldest covered bridge in Lehigh County. It was built without a single nail or piece of iron in it. In 1956, a speeding truck came through and splintered 7 of the main crossbeams, and the city came close to demolishing the whole thing. Cars are banned now, so you walk it. Further down the same road, the Lil Lehigh Trout Nursery has been raising fish on this creek since 1883. Long open concrete tanks at ground level, white netting stretched over the top to keep the herons off, thousands of trout underneath. The visitor center sells a bag of feed for $1, and with a kid in tow, that dollar buys the best half hour in Allentown. No gate, no fee. In December, the city strings that same 1-mile stretch with lights and you drive through it, $16 a car, booked online. On Mondays that month, they open it to people on foot for nothing. Number 6 is a short rocky walk with eagles going over the top of it. Bake Oven Knob is 38 minutes north up on the Blue Mountain Ridge near Germansville. Park on Bake Oven Road and go 4/10 of a mile along the Appalachian Trail, which is the footpath that runs from Georgia all the way to Maine, and you come out on an outcrop looking east over farmland and ridgelines, stony underfoot and free. The Lehigh Gap Nature Center has been counting migrating birds of prey off that rock for more than 50 years, one of the longest continuous raptor counts in the world, and the running tally is past 800,000 birds. Bald eagles average close to 200 a season. The ridge funnels them south. Go between the middle of August and the end of November, and there will be volunteers up there with binoculars who can tell you exactly what just went over your head. Ridges are free. Almost nothing else about a trip is, which is why there are 2 links sitting under this video. A guide to keeping travel costs down and a short list of the operators here I'd hand my own money to. Those 2 things and nothing else. Number 7 gets you professional baseball for about the price of a sandwich. Coca-Cola Park is where the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs play, and they're the Philadelphia Phillies AAA team, the level directly below the majors, so the players on that field are one phone call from Philadelphia. 10,000 people fit in, about 8,000 in seats, and the rest on a grass bank behind center field. Tickets open around $8, and the whole operation has committed to the pig. Mascots called Ferris and Fifi run a pork race between innings. There's a seating section called the Bacon Strip. There's a pig pen out in left field. It is exactly as daft as it sounds, and I would go back. Number 8 has 4 river otters in it, which I was not expecting from a science center. This one is new, and the address matters. For 19 years, the Vinci Science Center was out on the Cedar Crest College campus. It closed there in April of 2024 and reopened a month later in a 67,000 square foot building on West Hamilton Street, right downtown at more than double the size. A lot of the writing about this place still points at the old campus, so check where you're going before you set off. Inside, there's a Lehigh River watershed gallery with the otters in it, a 54-foot screen you draw on, a full-size Mack truck parked in the middle of an engineering exhibit, and a human body gallery built with about 60 specialists. Tickets open around $20 a head, so this is the one that costs a family properly, and with children between 4 and 12, it's the easiest yes in the city. Number 9 is a 100-year-old hot dog counter with a mispronunciation over the door. Theodore Iacocca opened a small cigar and convenience shop on Liberty Street in 1922. Somebody came in and asked whether he sold hot dogs, and by the following day he had a grill. Iacocca is the family name, and yes, his nephew Lee ran Ford and then Chrysler. The German farming families who settled this part of Pennsylvania get called the Pennsylvania Dutch, which has nothing to do with Holland. They could not get their mouths around Iacocca. They said Yako. The family kept it, and Yako's is what's over the door a century later. Order a dog with the chili sauce, mustard, and chopped onions. They'll do you a cheesesteak as well, though the cheesesteak people here argue about is the brass rail, one of the last things left from the old Hamilton Street. Neither one is trying to be clever, and both are cheap. Number 10 has a car in it that its own inventor was only allowed to drive at night. America on Wheels is down by the Lehigh River on the eastern edge of downtown, 75 vehicles across 3 galleries, cars and trucks and motorcycles and bicycles. Find the Natick. Henry Natick built a gas-powered carriage in an Allentown workshop in 1889, one of the first cars made in America, and it was so far outside anything people had seen that he was told to keep it to after dark. A man with the first car in town driving it in the dark so as not to frighten anybody. That's worth the ticket on its own. Some of those vehicles are on loan from a museum 4 miles south that you cannot simply walk into. Number 11. The Mack Trucks Historical Museum occupies the company's old testing facility on Lehigh Parkway South, and it's the closest thing Allentown has to a monument to what the city did for a living. Mack built trucks here. The tour is guided 60 to 90 minutes with somebody who knows the collection, and it costs nothing beyond a suggested donation. There's a condition on it, and it isn't a small one. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday only, 10 to 4, and you reserve in advance through their website. Arrive on a Tuesday, and the gate is locked. 9 brick towers 90 feet high for number 12, and there's nothing to book and nothing to lock. 15 minutes north in the borough of Copley. The Copley cement kilns stand in a small park beside the Lehigh River. They're red brick, tapered like bottles, with rows of narrow arched openings up the sides and little metal caps on some of the tops. They were built in 1893 to make Portland cement, which is the ordinary gray cement everything gets built out of. The limestone came out of the ground right here, back when this stretch of the river was the cement capital of the country. They went cold early in the 20th century, and they've simply stood there since. The Ironton Rail Trail goes past the door. There's a fence, so you're on the outside of it, but you get close, and there are boards telling you what went on in there. No charge, and no closing time. Number 13 is around 30 murals and one very old building, and it takes an hour on foot and costs nothing. The murals are spread over Hamilton Street, the Arts Walk and Walnut Street, and the one to go looking for is The Path, an alley at 932 Hamilton Street that runs 2 blocks between 2 buildings and links a parking lot to the main road. 16 artists covered 4,000 square feet of brick down there, with the words, The Path, painted in white block letters across the top. Strange place to walk into, and I liked it considerably more than I expected to. On the same stretch, look up at Miller Symphony Hall, a pale stone front with 4 tall arched windows and a curved glass canopy over the door. It opened as a market house in 1896, became a theater 3 years later, and it's the only historic theater left standing downtown. The Allentown Symphony plays there. Round the corner is PPL Center, the arena, home to the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, who are the Philadelphia Flyers minor league side. And this is where I'd warn you about parking. Read the signs on the private lots down here. The towing crews around 7th Street will lift a car at midnight and charge hundreds to release it, with weekend storage days added on that you have no way of stopping. Pay for a proper garage. Number 14 is the plainest building on this list, and I'd take an hour in it over most of the rest. The Allentown Fairgrounds Farmers Market on West Chew Street has more than 60 vendors under one roof. It's aisles and permanent counters, the kind of market hall that's been keeping the same hours for decades. Produce, meat, seafood, dillies, Amish bakers turning out pies and pastries on the spot, and a barbecue counter called the Ritz that people from here bring up unprompted. Walking in costs nothing, and this is where a lot of trips fall over, because it very nearly got me. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, that's the whole week. Thursday 9 to 7, Friday 8 to 7, Saturday 8 to 6. Any other day, there's nobody in the building. The same fairgrounds put on the Great Allentown Fair for 6 days at the end of every August, which started in 1852 and is one of the oldest fairs in the country. One small thing before I carry on. If any of this has been useful, hit the like button. It genuinely moves the video around. Number 15. South of downtown, in a Pennsylvania German stone farmhouse from the 1750s on the bank of the Little Lehigh, the Museum of Indian Culture has been open since 1980. It's the oldest museum in Pennsylvania devoted entirely to Native American history, and it tells the story of the Lenape and the other northeastern woodland nations. Thousands of artifacts, a great many of them dug out of this valley. The biggest room holds a diorama of what life here looked like before Europeans arrived. Every August, they run the Roasting Ears of Corn Festival on the grounds, with dancing, food, and performers, and it's been going for more than 40 years. Number 16 has African penguins right at the entrance, and a verdict from me that isn't a rave. The Lehigh Valley Zoo is inside Trexler Nature Preserve, the same place we started, 13 miles out of town. 300 animals, 104 species, penguins at the gate, giraffes you can feed. With small children, it's a good 2 hours, and it's the right size for them, meaning you get round all of it before anybody has a meltdown. Coming from a big city zoo, you'll find it small. The reviews go both ways, and I'll leave it there. Add it to the drive you're already making for the bison, and let the bison be the reason you went. 3 parks now, and the 2 months that matter. Number 17. The Malcolm Gross Rose Garden on Parkway Boulevard is roses, reflecting ponds full of water lilies, gazebos, and a loop you can walk in 20 minutes. June and July are when it's worth the drive. Turn up in October and you've got a pleasant park, which I'd tell you before you got in the car. Cedar Beach Park is a few hundred yards along the same parkway, with the public pool, a big playground, courts and pavilions. And West Park, over on the other side of the city, is the first park Allentown ever built, 1909. Trexler again, the Bison Man, this time working off the City Beautiful movement, which was the idea that an industrial city owed its people somewhere decent to stand. Franklin Meehan laid out the planting like an English garden. Horace Trumbauer designed the band shell, and the Allentown Band still plays in it. All 3 of those parks are free. 2 places for number 18, and you can only get into either of them on a summer weekend afternoon. Lock Ridge Furnace is outside Albertus, in the southwestern corner of the valley, and what's left of it is roofless stone walls with red brick arches set into them, standing in 59 acres of mown park. The Lock Ridge Iron Company fired it up in 1868 and shut it in 1921, and it's one of only 2 anthracite iron furnaces still standing anywhere. Anthracite is the hard coal they mine north of here, and burning it is what the whole business ran on. The other place is Haynes Mill in South Whitehall, a tall whitewashed stone grist mill, meaning a water-powered mill for grinding grain, with its original gears, millstones, and wooden machinery still turning. There's been a mill on that spot since about 1760. The Lehigh County Historical Society runs the pair of them and charges for neither. Both open Saturdays and Sundays only, 1 to 4 in the afternoon, May through September. Number 19 is the best 2 or 3 hours of driving around here, and it costs you nothing but fuel. There are 6 covered bridges in this part of Pennsylvania. Bogart's, down in the Parkway, was one. The other 5 make a loop. They're all the same idea. Barn red plank walls, pale timber trusses inside, sitting low over a creek on stone abutments. The pleasure of it is the back roads between them more than any one bridge. Where's is the one to build the trip around, an 1841 span wide enough for 2 lanes, at the western end of a place actually named Covered Bridge Park, with picnic tables and a footpath along the water. Rex's you look at from the road, because private land comes right up to it, and 2 of them, Gagers and Slickers, are inside Trexler Nature Preserve. Locals call Slickers the Deer Pen Bridge. So the bison, the zoo, and 2 covered bridges all come off one drive. The oddest thing in this valley is number 20, and most people watching cannot legally get into it. 20 minutes from Allentown, there's a spring-fed lake that used to be a limestone quarry. They stopped pumping, it filled, and for decades it was called Dutch Springs. Then it shut. In 2024, a couple of local divers reopened it as Lake Hydra. Sunk on the bottom, deliberately, there's an airplane, a school bus, a fire truck, a trolley car, a crane, and a scatter of boats, with training platforms at 10, 15, and 25 feet. Now the condition on it, and it's absolute. This is a dive site. You need an open water certification to get in the water, and you have to be with a certified insured dive professional the entire time. Nobody under 10 is allowed on the property. The season runs mid-April to the end of September. If you dive, people come here from 3 states away for it. If you don't, it's still the strangest thing in the Lehigh Valley, and I wanted you to know it's down there. So Friday. 4 of the places on this list keep 4 different schedules, and Friday is the only weekday all 4 of them overlap. Go on a Saturday instead, and you lose the truck museum, but you pick up the mill and the furnace, which only open at weekends. Everything else here keeps ordinary hours, and you can do it whenever you like. And if you've got a second day going spare, drive 20 minutes east to Bethlehem. The blast furnaces are still standing there, with a free walkway running along them 46 feet up. The Moravian settlement in the middle of that town went onto the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2024. That's the United Nations Register of the most significant places on Earth, so the song named the wrong town. The collapse it describes was real, and it happened next door. Allentown is the one that came out the other side, and it's worth a Friday.